Welcome back here on JTV. Thank you to the Insurance Circle Agency. Visit myinsurancecircle.com. The Grass Lake boys basketball team currently 13-0 right now. Tonight, Tuesday, they take on Homer as their quest to win their first Cascades Conference championship since 1971 for this program. The last undefeated team left in our area, and we're happy to have now joining the show the head coach from the Grass Lake Warriors, Marshawn Norris. Coach, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
So before we kind of dive into this season and how it's been so far, tell our viewers or our listeners a little bit first about your coaching background or where you played college at and any prior coaching stops that you had before Grass Lake.
Yep, so I finished my collegiate career up at Culver Stockton College in Canton, Missouri. That was back in 2013, and then when I graduated, I was the assistant coach there for a couple of years before I took the head coaching job at Jackson College for a couple of years. And been coaching travel teams and doing individual skill training with kids, and then got the opportunity at Grass Lake, and very, very pleased with how I've been accepted and how the players have taken to what I'm trying to get done.
Absolutely. Well, right now you guys are 13-0. Best start to a season for the boys program in a very long time. So how, for you, how's the season been so far and with this group of kids?
I think this is a really special group. I mean, we all know Braden Lake, but I'm really more pleased with the others and how they've came along, especially from last year to this year. Carmine Beltran and his growth, Sal Vitale and his growth as being a leader. Bryant Cook, last year we only had him for 6 games because of injury. His toughness and energy is unmatched from anybody probably in the whole county. And then Jacob Collins, I mean, he's 2 steals a night, 2 blocks a night, a lot of deflections, and he'll go get you 17 on any night. So just the group that we got, and everybody, they put their hard hat on and they go to work every day. And I think I tell them all the time, we're not a good team. We just work really, really hard.
Right, for sure. So coming off of last year and then coming into this season, did you kind of have a feeling with this team and this group of kids that this team was going to be, this season was going to be different and that this is a special group?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, even from last year, we just needed to get to know each other and understand the goals, set goals and attack those goals every day. And I think this year we came in, we made goals, and we just, every day that we come into the gym, we're attacking goals. So definitely knew I had a special group before I ever even got the job. So,
of course, you guys still have a few games left, but just looking ahead after that to districts, it's quite a tough district that you guys are in. Hanover Horton currently tied for first in the west side of the Cascades, and then Lumen Christi, who's 14-1. So these games, and especially the tough game against Center a few weeks ago, you got them again coming up, and Leslie as well before the season's done. So how have these competitive conference games and other games that you guys have been in prepared you guys for this really tough district that's going to be coming up?
Yeah, so our mindset every game, no matter what the score is 0-0 for every possession. So we're just trying to win as many plays as we can and see what that adds up to. Lumen Christi is a great team. Hanover Horton, great team. Napoleon, great program. Anybody can win that district. I firmly believe that. But as long as we keep our 0-0 mentality, I think we can compete with anybody.
Of course, you talked about earlier some of the team leaders and some of the senior, junior leadership. Of course, we know Braden Lake, but in addition to that, like you mentioned, Carmine and Sal Vitale and Bryant Cook, are there any other players who maybe unexpectedly or expected have stepped up in a leadership role or a new spot on the team this year?
No, everybody who's on the team this year outside of Braden Wayne played last year, played varsity. But everybody has grown. Everybody has grown. Braden and Bryant are really great leaders for our team, vocal leaders, but everybody, any given night, you could be the guy. And I tell the guys all the time, you're all the man, and you're all the man for different reasons. And as long as you go out and you do your job and he does his job, we'll have a chance at the end of the game.
Absolutely. So you graduated from Napoleon, and of course, this Friday, you guys are going to be taking on the Pirates. We'll be there for the girls and the boys game here on JTV. What are you looking forward to with Friday's game, coaching against the team or the school that you played for here?
This will be my fourth game against them, so I don't really have too many emotions about it. It is cool. It is kind of weird when I hear them say Pirates and I'm saying Warriors, but I just look at it as they're the next team that's in our way of achieving our goal. I'm a Warrior now, so yeah, not too much emotion about that matchup though.
So tell us a little bit about Napoleon and going into this game. Obviously, the past handful of years they've won the conference or been in the conference championship. Very different team this year than what they've had the previous couple of years. Obviously, when you lose a lot of key senior players like they had previously, Grant Bradley, Devontae Hayburn, Van Poppel, Wires, etc. They're a little bit younger, but they still have some key pieces, though, from last year's team that can make a difference in this game coming up.
Yeah, definitely. They have a player who I've known his dad for a while, Tyler Naw, great player. And then Coach Siddell, he does a great job of getting his guys prepared every single night. So we definitely know there's no game really in our conference that we could call a pushover. And we definitely know Napoleon is not one of those, any type of pushover team. So Coach will do a really good job of having them up for the challenge, and we'll be excited and hope to exceed what they're trying to do and impose our will on them.
So kind of stepping away from the games coming up on Friday, just about coaching and philosophies, what would you say if you had any core philosophies that you try to instill in your team, maybe both on and off the floor?
Um, I wanted to be a coach because I was always surrounded by good coaches, be it football, basketball. Antonio Parker, head football coach at Jackson High, he's a good friend of mine. We've worked together. He was a camp counselor of mine when I was a kid growing up at the King Center. And just one thing that I've pulled from him is to care about the players. And then Jack Schrader, he was my coach, and I worked with him after I graduated college in Canton, Missouri, and just always being over-prepared. You can never be too prepared. So I don't really have a philosophy. I think every group is different, so I like to be able to change with the groups and do what's best for that group. But as long as I care about the players and make sure that they're overly prepared, those are two things that I can always hang my hat on.
So is there any type of approach that you have, especially early in the season? Obviously, everybody besides one is back on the team this year from last year. But how do you approach building that team chemistry if you had to do that this year?
No, I didn't have to do too much of that. I think the baseball teams that they've played on their whole lives together, the football teams they've played on their whole lives together have definitely helped in that aspect. But just me trying to fit into their group, into their culture, and just have them having a whole year of understanding of what I'm expecting, of the expectations. I mean, it's just little stuff. There's little stuff that I don't have to say anymore because I said them all last year. Now I got Carmine saying them for me, or I got Sal saying them for me, or Braden just being a visual leader for the guys doing the right thing and they following suit.
When it comes to preparing and getting ready for games, is there any role that film study plays in your guys' preparation, and how do you guys use it if you do to improve your team's performance?
Yep. So they all have a Huddle account, and games get uploaded to Huddle, and they can view it on their own. I'm not really a big team film study guy. I like to just go out there on the court and I tell you what I've seen, and we mock other teams and have scout other teams. So we just do it in that manner. We don't have team film studies, but they all take a look at the other team prior to. I can monitor how much time they spend on Huddle, so I know they're all watching.
Is there any big rewarding moment maybe that you've had as a coach with this group, or since you've been at Grass Lake so far?
Can you repeat that?
Has there been any like rewarding moments that you've experienced as a coach here at Grass Lake so far?
Oh yeah, for sure. And it's not ever winning and losing. It's just the fact that they come in every day and they get better every day. That's the most rewarding thing I can say to this season. Um, a guy who came onto the team late. He played last year and made the decision that he wasn't going to play, and he came onto the team late. Nate Pettit, and I mean, he was the hero of the night against Michigan Center. So, I mean, that was real warm for me because he came and he worked and he continues to work, pay attention to the details of things and put forth the proper effort. So I can say that's a big reward for me, just him wanting to come back to the team and how hard he works every day. And like I say, we don't have the most talent. We don't have the most talent in the county. We don't have the most talent in the Cascades Conference, but we work really, really hard.
Uh, what do you think is the hardest part of being a coach in high school basketball? Maybe that a lot of people wouldn't think of or maybe don't realize.
Um, I think a lot of people would think that basketball stops after practice or basketball stops on the weekend. But I mean, this is 7 days a week, 24/7. You know, you're thinking about your team, you're game planning for your team, you're watching other teams, you're on the internet looking at other teams' schedules and their film. It just doesn't stop, and I think that's what a lot of people don't understand. I got a 6-year-old daughter. I'm trying to get her to understand that, um, but she takes to it really well. She likes basketball, so I'm okay with that. But yeah, it's just never ending job, and I don't think people understand that.
Yeah, and this is producer Adam here. What I was wondering too, obviously, you to do this job, like you said, you gotta love basketball. You growing up, who were the players that you were into growing up, and kind of maybe developed your style after?
Um, I wouldn't say. When I was younger, it was DeJuan Jefferson. DeJuan Jefferson, he played at Spring Arbor. He was a camp counselor also at the King Center. I can just remember him. I fifth, sixth grade, and I couldn't shoot 3-point shots. I was just too little, I guess. And he taught me how to shoot 3-point shots, and he's still a great friend of mine. So, DeJuan Jefferson, just a local guy. Jared Axon, worked out with him a lot. Dorian Pierce is a really good friend of mine. We talk about basketball all day, every day. Uh, Keontae Howell, those guys. Yeah. I mean, the list could go on and on. I wouldn't say I emulated my game after them, but just taking their work ethic, and working at the game and wanting to be as successful as they were at the game.
Of course, you played basketball collegiately. What advice would you give to players looking to play basketball at the college level and to try to work at that more to be able to have the opportunity to play at the next level?
First and foremost, you gotta be hitting the books. I mean, I was a college coach, and I know the first question that I always ask was, "How is he in the classroom?" And no coach is ever going to lie for you about your grades. So you got to make sure you're hitting the books and understand that basketball is secondary because without the books, you can't get to that next level. But as far as on the court stuff and working, everybody is working. You always have to have the mindset that you're not going to let someone else outwork you. And if you have that mindset, you can go as far as you want to. I firmly believe that.
So, with being a coach and trying to balance it all, how do you handle kind of I imagine a lot of stress that comes with being a coach, or do you have any personal, routines or strategies for managing that or something with the team to try to help balance everything?
Yeah, I always make sure that I leave work like game day today. So I'll probably leave work today about 2 o'clock because the bus leaves at 4. I always like to get an hour to myself of just doing nothing. Just I might take a nap. I might sit there and scroll TikTok or something, but just an hour after work in between getting ready for the bus ride or the home game of doing nothing. And I think that helps me a lot of being able to transition from one thing to the next. I always feel like days when I go to practice after work, the guys might get the short end of the stick because I might still be thinking about something from work. But as long as I can get that hour to myself on game days, it's a good day.
So again, coming in or right now, your team's sitting at 13-0. Going to play tonight, obviously Tuesday at Homer, a team out of the Cascades. So of course, when you played for Napoleon, there was only the 7 or 8 teams in the conference, and over the last couple of years, obviously across all sports, but it's expanded to now 12 teams in the conference. What's that been like the past couple of years? Maybe because a few of these schools could be new opponents for you guys.
Oh yeah, definitely. So I don't really mind it too much. The travel is not too bad. I think Homer will be our longest trip of the season. It's like 55 minutes. So I don't mind it. I think the guys, being able to build that chemistry on the bus and all that is really good for them. And we'll play anybody. We'll play anybody, and that's not just because I'm not just saying that because we're 13-0 and we're smelling ourselves. No, we'll play anybody. I think if you want to be a good team, you should want to play everybody. You should want to show what you can do against different opponents.
Right, absolutely. So before we go, couple more things I wanted to touch on. One, it's been kind of a big topic of conversation amongst other coaches or athletes, more specifically on social media, about having a shot clock here in Michigan for high school basketball. Now, there's quite a few other states who have it or will have it in the coming years, but there's still a few states also that don't have it. Do you have any thoughts on whether having a shot clock or not, or could it be beneficial to Michigan high school basketball? Just wanted to get your thoughts if you had any about the shot clock.
Yeah, I did have thoughts about it until my team played in the shot clock classic this year, and I was thinking that we would score more points than we ever did all season, and we scored just about our average. So even if you look up the data, it proves that it doesn't change the game much. I mean, you would be hard pressed to find a team that possesses the ball for longer than 35 seconds anyway in high school basketball. So it's the only issue that ever could occur is if a team of lesser talent tried to do the stall tactic, and you don't see that often either. Teams play with pride and integrity, which is good. So I don't have any real feelings about that after coaching in a high school game with a shot clock this season.
And then one more. So there's also been a couple former coaches in the area, but now athletic directors at other schools who, have mentioned on social media that want the idea of having the public schools be in a totally separate divisions, whether it's 1 through 4 for basketball or 8 for football or other sports, having public and the private schools be separated. And their thoughts on that were that you see half of like the football trophies being won by Catholic or private schools. And there's a few coaches now who have really started to put that message out there that they need to separate the two between the public and private schools, and that the private schools have a much larger advantage in what they can do with their teams. I don't know if you've heard anything with yourself about that, but any thoughts on with the private schools playing, keeping it how it is or changing it up?
Yeah, I've heard talks about that, but I don't really have a real feeling about it. Just so long as everybody's operating with integrity and following the rules that they have for whatever governing body they are under. As long as everybody's following their rules, I'm fine with whatever. So if the Catholic schools are winning championships, then maybe the public schools to start taking their model, whatever they're doing to win these championships. So I don't want to take away from the hard work that Catholic schools are doing to earn these championships by my own personal feelings. So I have no problem with what they have going on.
Right, for sure. So again, one more time, we will be at Grass Lake for those watching or listening Friday night. We'll start with the girls' game at 5:15. They tip off at 5:30, and then we will get to watch Coach Norris and the Grass Lake boys following that to take on the Napoleon Pirates. Grass Lake 13-0 right now. Head coach Marshawn Norris. Appreciate you taking the time with us today.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
We'll be back here on GTV in a couple of minutes. Stay tuned.